NextAngles, an artificial intelligence solution to regulatory compliance challenges. Regulatory requirements for banks are increasingly complex and dynamic, so compliance specialists spend too much time collecting data and not enough time analyzing them. NextAngles is a knowledge-based system that integrates and enriches siloed data, be it internal to the bank or from external sources, in order to turn it into context-aware, smart data and translates regulations into computer-understandable rules. The result? Increased speed of your compliance department so you can process alerts from hours down to minutes and reduce costs by 30% or more. Let's say John Smith is a bank customer. He also has a mortgage account and a credit card where he is the primary card holder and his wife Jane is the supplementary card holder. In traditional banking systems, the data is housed in 3 different silos: customer accounts, mortgage accounts, and card accounts that need to be accessed separately and manually prior to being analyzed as a whole to make sense and generate insights. Now let's say that Mr. Smith's mortgage was approved by loan officer Jane Smith. It would take an analyst hours to collect and interpret all the information in order to discover the conflict. That is, if the loan officer is also Mr. Smith's wife. Now imagine this example scaled to the real world, where banks have to gather and analyze data on millions of accounts spread across multiple lines of business and geographies. To solve this problem, NextAngles creates knowledge models that define various concepts and their relationships to one another. It assigns unique identifiers to each individual and integrates all the data into interconnected knowledge models, making the data context-aware and computer-understandable. This is how NextAngles makes your data smart. And that's how the system knows that Jane Smith, who approved John's mortgage account, is the same person who is also the supplementary holder of Mr. Smith's credit card. Thus, detecting a familial relationship, the system can issue a conflict alert automatically, along with all the supporting evidence. Now, what about the constantly changing regulations? It can take weeks and large teams of specialists to figure out if and how a line of business will be impacted due to a regulatory update. Not with NextAngles, because our knowledge models cover not only the banking ecosystems, but regulations as well. As soon as a regulatory change is identified, it propagates through the system to identify which lines of business actually get impacted and how. And all this happens automatically in a matter of minutes. To harness all this power, NextAngles puts everything together into a new Gen user interface that effortlessly aggregates the documents and data needed for compliance analysts to investigate alerts and analyze contextual information. NextAngles automates many data collection and collation tasks and continues to improve its performance over time. That's how NextAngles can deliver a minimum of 30% cost savings and make processes 3 times faster. NextAngles. It's compliance reimagined.